your power, have your way. We love you. We are waiting on you. We are waiting your arrival.
Hello and greetings. Welcome to earGround, New Voices Amplified. Welcome to the platform where we speak to new artists and artists that are actually rising, artists in Zimbabwe, but also Zimbabweans that are living in the diaspora. And today, I've got the pleasure and the honor to actually be speaking to an amazing artist. I've been listening to a new album. There's a song called Holy Spirit on that album that I like the most because I'm a reggae fan and it comes with that reggae vibe. But we're going to be talking about that album, her life, and everything that she has been up to musically. Her name is Macaria. That is her stage name, but she was born Monica Bera and got married to Yeboah. Then now she's Monica Bera Yeboah, aka Macaria. Welcome to earGround.
Thank you, Plot. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. I had to take a lot of time to introduce you and explain where you're coming from because there's so much worth in where you're coming from. And when I listen to your music, I could pick a lot of those exciting and interesting elements. And I was excited to say, we're going to have a chance to speak to her. And after 2, 3, 4 years, we should be telling the world that we actually had her as a guest when she's standing on that big global stage. But take us back. I mean, who is Macaria?
Thank you, Plot. As you already said, Macaria is born Monica Bera. I was born in Bindura, grew up in Bindura.
Oh,
I grew up in Bindura. I schooled in Bindura. Bindura Primary School was my school, and then moved on to high school, Mont Casino Girls High in Macheke. And then I returned to Bindura for my A-level, Bindura High School. Before moving to the United States right after my A-levels. Macaria sort of like came in down the road. I'm sure you get into that.
Yes.
But that's kind of a brief of kind of where I came from.
Interesting because we come from the same area. I come from Madziwa. So when you mentioned Bindura, I was smiling there because I was like, diamonds come from the same place. I'm not calling myself diamond, but you are one. Bindura is so rich with a lot of talent, and I'm excited actually to be speaking to somebody who comes from Bindura who is doing amazing. Music, at what point did you decide or have that feeling that, I think I could be a musician?
So it's really interesting because I think I sort of like just grew up as a musical bird, if you want to say. I was that kid, who would always kind of sing at people's birthday parties. Great. Without anybody calling me out. I would just start singing, whatever I wanted to sing at people's birthday parties. And so I think what kind of happened was, being that I went to some Christian schools, of course, then we did have church services and I would sing in church and that kind of stuff. But I remember vividly, actually, desiring to be part of a band. But I think, Plot, you understand this, that, your parents are usually, expecting you to go to school, to become a lawyer and a doctor. Yes. So you sort of like just drop it along the way. But I actually used to admire, the band singers. I would watch Tuku and the backup singers, Safirio Matikati in those days. And I'm like, man, I wish I could be one of those people.
Right.
So I think, it was in me all along. It really was in me all along.
Was there anyone from your family who was also doing music or singing?
Nothing professional, believe it or not. But, I would say that in my family, every gathering, there's always singing. There's always singing. We just sing, but nobody was really doing it any, professionally or anything like that.
Wow. And do you recall your first song, the first song that you would say, I wrote this song, I sang it?
I actually remember the first song. It's not even produced yet. It's a very...
Oh, wow. But are we going to see it getting produced one of these days?
It was one of those songs that kind of have the same, tone. But I actually, I remember doing a voice note on my phone and I said, well, this is my first song, and so I'm sure down the road we'll polish it up and produce it.
Great. And moving from Zimbabwe to the States, you've been there for 2 decades now. How did this impact you musically? Because I was trying to pick your musical direction from the different songs that you have on that album, and I realized that there is quite a lot of influence in there. But how did the migration impact you musically?
Yes, so I think coming to the United States, I didn't lose the music liking, if I may say. I continued to sing. I was singing in the shower, singing everywhere, on the train. When I remember in my college days, to the point where I actually was annoying my roommates. That's the kind of person I was, always singing. And they're like, oh my gosh, can you keep quiet? Because I had roommates and all that. But coming to the United States, United States is really open to a lot of cultures. And so I made a lot of friends from different cultures, of course, the Americans, people from the islands. I have Jamaican friends, all kinds of stuff. So I think as I also joined my church, which is an international church, there are very different people in there. It's an international church. And so I think it's sort of like guided what I'm doing, because I'm trying to really sing to the world at this point. So I think coming to the United States sort of like broadened my choice and my spectrum of the music that I sing. Yes.
Wow, that's quite interesting, because you also touch on one part of my questions, which was what's your goal, what's your mission? So maybe to just join that, as you've partly answered, you regard yourself as a gospel artist or just as a musician?
A gospel artist, solely a gospel artist. Yes.
And let's talk about the gospel that you are singing and the gospel that you are preaching through your music. What do you hope to impact or impart to the world through your music?
Yes, absolutely. So I have realized that we live in a dark world now. We are not in the best of times. Look what just happened 2 years ago. COVID just snuck up on us. Nobody knew this, And I just think that the only hope that we have is really God. And so Macaria, or what I do, is really just take the word of God and change it into a melodious form. So my songs are actually bringing a lot of hope. They are turning people towards God. I'm singing to that person who desires, who's looking for something. They're searching for something. They can't find it. I'm singing to that person because in my songs, there is hope. Their attention is being focused on God. And then I'm also singing to that person who's probably going through depression, because in those songs, you would also find that you'll be liberated. You're going to be, if you're feeling down, you're going to be uplifted. So the message I'm trying to carry across is really the message of the Bible, the message of hope, the message of encouragement, to say that, look, even though we're not in the best of times, there is only one place we can look up to. The Bible says that I'll lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? It comes from God. So my music really just points people to God in whatever situation that you find yourself in.
Wow, I feel uplifted so much just from hearing those words. But the Zoe project, which you just released, right? The Zoe album. This is your debut album. But before, you had released a couple of singles. Let's dwell a bit more on the new album, on your debut album. What was the creative process like, putting up that body of work together?
So the Zoe album, it was interesting because I had a couple of songs that were out, just like you mentioned, and even others that have not been produced yet. But what I was trying to do with the Zoe, I was thinking, as you can see, the Zoe, actually, there's a meaning to it. The Zoe actually means life. It means life. So we're coming from COVID. A lot of people have been really battered. People are down. I actually lost a couple of family members from COVID. And so it was a dark place, but I wanted to bring back life, to say, look, we can move forward. This is where we are, but we can move forward. So I tried to put songs on there that would really like just uplift the souls of the people, and also encourage people to turn their focus on God, because He's really all we have. He's really all that we have. And so it was careful. The songs were carefully selected that are on that album. Just as a beginning, I try to just put what I think would bring hope to the people. Not to say the other songs don't, but it was just kind of like trying to see how this one will do, and then we'll see the next project, what else we need to do to move forward.
That is great. And If you were to pick your favorites from the album, is there a couple of tracks or a song that you'd say, wow, this is my favorite, or you love all the songs?
I love all the songs. I wrote all the songs. I love them. And I think it's just interesting because I don't know if I have a favorite, but I love all the songs. It's just been interesting getting feedback from people, picking they like this, they like that. But for me, I would say I love all of them.
And how's been that feedback from people, those in the States and also from Zimbabwe that have heard the album?
Yes. Yeah, I am getting really good feedback. People are saying that they are really uplifted, just like I said, which is something I'm really glad to hear, because that is the goal. People are uplifted. As a matter of fact, I think 2 weeks ago, I had a testimony from someone here in the United States who said, after listening to my songs, they were actually suicidal. And after listening to the album, they said that, this is what they needed. And so they changed their heart and they are still around. So, for me, that's like a great testament. If that's what the songs would do, then I'm glad.
Wow, that is great. Powerful to get such kind of a testimony that connects to your music. It means your music is actually saving lives. I meant to ask you about the name Macaria at the beginning, but then we got overtaken by, events. Where did that name come from?
So Macaria is a name, basically that means a river of blessings. And so I got the name after I was singing for some time. And, I guess people would always say that they were blessed by me singing. So the point, a father of mine gave me that name, Macaria, meaning a river of blessing. And actually, I would tell you that from the time I think that name was put into action, I actually saw more results. So I think the name is working. So I think there's a power in names. Yeah, there's power in names.
Wow. And where is that river flowing? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
If I'm still running the race of life, because we can't really tell the future, I see myself, having written as many songs as possible, having produced and sung as many songs as possible, because I just believe that, there'll be no talent beyond the grave. So I'm really hoping that in the next 5 years, I've done as much as I can to get the words of hope out there to the people and just continue to save lives.
Oh, great. And what are you currently working on? Are there any tours planned after the release of the album?
No, so right now, to believe it or not, I'm actually diving into the second album. We are on that.
Oh, great. You're
working on it right now. Yeah, we are on it right now. That's what I'm working on. Yeah.
When do we expect that? Next year? This year?
I would say sometime this year.
Sometime this year. Wow, that is great.
Yes.
I would definitely look forward to that. But if you're not making music and producing or working on your own content, what do you occupy yourself with? Like, do you have a 9 to 5 family? Like, because I'm always curious to know how artists balance life and music.
Yes, music is my life, but when I'm not doing music, I like to spend time with my kids. I have 3 children.
Great.
Just playing around with them. They're also very musical, so we play a lot with a lot of singing and dancing. So music gets in there somewhere. But other than that, I do also have some work that I do. I'm a nurse by profession. And so I do still nurse people. I am also occupied with just ministry work. I do a lot of counseling people, just, checking on people, because I do assist my husband who pastors the church that I belong to as well.
Wow.
So,
wow, that is great. It's been awesome. I really wanted to continue asking more questions because it's quite interesting and exciting to see how you're building a music career. But if you're not listening to your own music, who's on your playlist currently? Which other artists would you say, I listen also to other artists, maybe this and that?
My goodness, I love music, and so my playlist is really, really huge. So I have First Love Music. I don't know if you've heard. It's called First Love Music. This is music that was produced by my bishop, so the church that I go to. So it's called
Great.
First Love Music. I have Sinach. I have Janet Manyoa. I have Minister Mahendere. I have Timbalami. Oh my gosh, I have Victoria Orenze. It's really big. My list is big because I just love music. I have Hillsong on there. As I said, because I do like various types of music as long as it's gospel. So yeah,
Wow.
just those that I can mention at the top of my head.
Wow, thank you so much, Macaria. I really, really appreciate. But to those that are getting in touch with your music and people that are already listening to your music, what word would you send out to your fans?
I would say that, first of all, thank you very much for listening. I believe that there are so many talented musicians out there. So for someone to choose to listen to my music, I don't take it lightly. It's a privilege. Thank you very much for your support. And I pray that, the music will continue to be a blessing to you. And I would like to say one thing. I would just like to say that to everybody who's listening, that if there's a dream in you, there's a gift in you, I would just encourage that you would continue dreaming. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but just continue dreaming until it actually comes to pass. Because I think I'm a testament of that. I just never saw myself here, but as I kept dreaming, I think I'm seeing the dream coming to pass. And I would say that follow your passions, follow your desires, because they're actually linked to your destiny. So whatever it is, you might not even be in music, art, whatever it is, just follow your passions. It could be even just what Plot is doing, talking to people. It's a gift. Follow it, because that's really like a connection to your destiny, what you're supposed to be, and impact the world. So I would say that just that to end to anybody listening.
Thank you so much for that. The message for the fans, but this also comes through as also a message for me, because I think I needed that. I need that kind of word of encouragement, and I feel very much uplifted. And I encourage to everybody, listen to Macaria's music. You can find it on her YouTube channel and also online stores. She's doing some amazing stuff. We'll be reviewing quite a lot of stuff that she's working on. So just keep your ear on the ground as we give you nothing but the best of gospel music coming all the way from Macaria, Zimbabwean artist who's based in the USA. Until next time, thank you so much.